Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV sets for the horror-thon. And remember the big giveaway at 9. Don't miss it. And don't forget to wear your masks. The clock is ticking. It's almost time.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
And we're live.
We're live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's a nerdy podcast that is hosted by Northern Nerds. I am one of your hosts, Sam.
And I am the other host, Paul, who now, like you, have that earworm in my head for the rest of my life. So if you see me just nod my head slightly, it's because I've got the Silver Shamrock Happy Halloween blasting away always. And yes, once again, with it being spooky season, we have got the Mistress of the Dark, the vampire herself, Jess, once again, gracing us with her presence. Lovely, Jess. How are you, Jess? How are you this fine Halloween day?
Tired.
Tired. Oh, bless. She's been out spooking and scaring the neighbours. That's what she's been doing. But yes, so I know we've given you a lot of content this month, and probably you are sick of us. Hopefully you are, and so we can fuck off quickly as well. Yes, we are doing an Halloween special because me and Sammy, it is our Christmas. We don't actually, well, Sammy likes Christmas, I don't.
Touch and go. I like December 1st.
December 1st, yes. So this is our like spooky Christmas. She got married on Halloween as well. That's why
It's my wedding anniversary today.
Yep. So we're not. That's why we're not live, but we are recording, and hopefully you're enjoying this midday stream because yes, I am going to be putting out at 1 p.m. so people can watch this on their lunch breaks because I am that kind of nice guy. But yes. So do you want to do your disclaimer there, Sammy?
If I can remember it. Brains like mush today. Everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you would like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us on the Facebook page, the Discord, or the comment section, where we can have an open discussion. But what we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong, because we can all agree to disagree in fandom. I'm getting nervous. So let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behavior out of a nerdism. I fucking knew. I was like, I'm not stopping. I'm just going to keep on going, keep on trucking. But I knew you'd be doing something. Are you getting taken over?
Smells.
Why are you wearing it? You look so weird. You look like you've got no neck.
Oh. Didn't even take my glasses off. To be fair, though, we're doing a Halloween movie without Michael Myers, so I thought I'd bring a bit of Michael in. The funny thing is, your cameras went off, like Jess and Sam, so they didn't see that. The people on the podcast can see exactly what I did, so it's hilarious. I forgot to turn that camera off.
Oh, well. That was for us then, people. It wasn't for you.
Yes, it was always. I always do it for Sammy and Jess. That's fine. But...
Well, before we kick off the episode, I've got the taglines for this movie. And now the earth will run with blood again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah?
Yep, I'll go with that.
Witchcraft enters the computer age and a different terror begins.
I wouldn't really call it the computer age. That's a bit of a stretch.
It was 1982. Oh my God, this is my favourite. The night no one comes home.
That's my favourite one as well.
That is brilliant. I do like that one.
And the last one is the Halloween horror continues.
Certainly. And I think this movie gets so much shit. For no reason at all. Simply because it hasn't got Michael Myers in.
Take Halloween 3 out the title.
Mm-hmm.
And you can never... Just gone.
Yeah.
Doesn't even have to be associated with it.
No.
But if we explain the reason why it doesn't have Michael in, is because they initially wanted to go. Halloween 2 didn't do too very well.
Yeah.
And the John Carpenter then kind of checked out, I'm gone. But certain people stayed on,
Mhm.
and they wanted to they were like, right, how do we flip this around?
Mhm.
And they decided they were going to go down the anthology route.
Mhm.
So Michael was the first story, and then they'd move on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. The producers of this film
Mhm.
didn't even like the idea that Michael wasn't in it.
Yeah. And
They
you could
hated
tell,
it.
you could tell, because
Mhm.
they were trying every little thing they can to get like a Michael Myers reference in there.
Oh,
100%.
massively. They tried with Tommy Lee Wallace, the director. I've said
Mhm.
his name right, haven't I, Jess?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Tommy Wallace, yeah.
Yeah, he was actually all in.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like very much all in. And even the cast they were very, from the documentary I watched of like the making of it, they were very cautious, but still give it 100%. They knew it wasn't going to be Oscar worthy or anything
Mhm.
like that. But what they didn't realize is years down the line, it becoming this cult classic
Mhm.
that everyone absolutely adores.
Mhm.
That's what I was going to say as well, because probably over, like I might be wrong with this, but I would say probably in the last five or so years, this has grown massively. Like compared to, this was always like when I grew up, no one would talk about Halloween 3. It was like kind of like the black sheep of the franchise, which is crazy when you watch some of the other Halloween movies. Some of them are completely unwatchable. The Paul
Yeah,
Rudd one, fuck me, I'm sorry, that is horrendous. It's
I
not
agree.
even like I know when we done the review of like I said, this was many moons ago. Where was it? The Good, the Bad, and the Rob Zombie.
Oh, that was such a good title.
When we reviewed all the different like Halloween movies, and we tried and attempted to watch them all. I don't think you managed to do them all, did you?
Couldn't.
No.
Couldn't watch them. Couldn't find them.
Yeah.
Because they're really hard to find. Not now. Go
Mhm.
on Prime. They're all on Prime, apart from Season of the Witch. It's the only
Mhm.
one out of all the Halloween franchise that haven't. You can rent and buy it, but you
Mhm.
can't watch it as part of your Prime package. Nah, I couldn't do it. Couldn't even. We did an episode on monsters on Michael Myers. Couldn't even do it then. Had to blag me way through that one. They are very unwatchable.
What about you, Jess? What was your like? Let's go back to first experiences, because I think like with us being of a certain age and Jess being one of the younger ladies, to be fair, this movie came out the year I was born, so that shows you, like say, my age as well. So you would have seen this either on late night TV or a dodgy VHS, I would think.
Yeah, I think so. It'll be one of those of like when you go through like all the trashy movies and you kind of like, right, have you seen this movie? This is really terrible. And then someone will like turn to me and it's like, yeah, but have you seen Season of the Witch? And like you got to watch like how ridiculous this one is.
Yeah.
But I think it's that thing with it, like I was never a Michael Myers fan.
Mhm.
Never been a
I get
Halloween
that.
fan. Controversial, I know, but I just find it very dull.
I get it. No,
Um,
I totally get it.
Well, we all can't be perfect like me, but still,
So
yeah.
Season of the Witch is my all-time favorite. I'm like, that's the greatest Halloween movie because it doesn't feature Michael Myers. Like, it's so much better.
Yeah.
And it's so ridiculous. I love it. It's just so over the top. It's so
Mhm.
ham. It's so just. There's just so many scenes in it. We're going like, I'd love to know what the thought process when they were doing this movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I think they knew what it was, and they knew, as Sammy said, they knew this wasn't going to be like, as I said, the major the change in horror or change in movies. They knew it was low budget, but they just went, right, we're just going to make this as fun and as stupid
Mhm.
as possible as they can. Now,
Yeah.
mhm.
watching, like when you watch it back, there's some fucking ridiculous decisions, there's some absolutely crazy things, but you're there for it, you're living for it. I know Jess said this is her favorite Halloween film. I think when me and Sam sat down and tried to work out like which Halloween order we would prefer, again, Halloween, the original, is my all-time favorite horror movie, so that has never been like taken off. I would say Season of the Witch is second, followed
Mhm.
closely by the newer one, the 2018.
Yeah.
That one, as I said, or H2O. H2O was a fucking game changer for a
Sounds all
lot
right,
of
yeah.
different, yeah.
It's just
But
brilliant for them.
yeah, but with this, it's like such a brave choice. I know, like as the idea from Halloween 2, they were going to do anthology movies
Mhm.
that each Halloween there was going to be a new Halloween film, but it was going to be like a different story, a different telling of like the weird and the wonderful. But they kind of lost the bottle.
Yeah.
They kind of went, shit, this didn't work. We're going to go back to the William Shatner mask and stuff like that. But I really do believe if they stayed steadfast and kept with that tradition, we could be still getting, I know we're still getting Halloween, like Michael Myers movies, but we probably still could be getting a new Halloween horror movie like now, and people would still be invested because there's that many different Halloween or horror stories. And people always love a good horror tale. It's just probably this movie was ahead of its time. It, like the ideas and like the ambition of the movie as well. I know when you did the taglines, like saying for the computer Halloween for the computer age, like it's like uh, my lovely wife had a quite funny comment when we were watching it because we just yesterday we got out the cinema of seeing Venom. The new Venom, which again I enjoyed, probably showing my taste now. That's probably a bad thing. But she was like, laboratories back then are completely different to what laboratories are now. It's like this Area 51 bunker where they've got all the symbiotes and it's like super high tech and super like clinical and stuff like that. And this was in a factory warehouse with a few boxes and a few TV monitors with like big buttons, things press the things to make things happen. It was
And the big red button, do not touch, with just written on the side.
which again is just a funny take because the budget must have been shit. Like they mustn't have had any money for this movie. I'll be honest with you. They probably put more money in making the masks than they did actually making the movie.
I was just thinking exactly the same thing. The money, because their masks were absolutely phenomenally good. But you are right. This did take risks because at the time we're in the height of slashers. So to do something that doesn't consist of a slasher in the 80s was quite a big risk. So this is probably this would have fitted great in the end of the 80s as opposed to the beginning of the 80s when slashers was starting to die out and it was getting to the point of ridiculous. And this is well before you've got your Scream that comes in and rejuvenizes it. It would have fitted perfectly towards the end of the 80s because it wasn't competing against, because slashers were huge, they were massive in the early 80s.
I think it's a weird thing though, because it sort of fits in really weird because obviously it gets attached to the slashers because it's a Halloween. But it fits more with movies like The Stuff, Reanimator, like where it all just gets a bit wild, a bit
That's what I was thinking.
Kind of going the other direction in the 80s of like what crazy product's going to kill you this time, or we're going to mess with life and death. And it's like it fits way more in with that section of the movies. So, and instead it's like kind of throw people off watching it expecting it's going to be another like and it's like it's not.
Yeah.
But it's like no, like go and then watch that and go watch stuff like The Stuff. Go watch all the ridiculous ones because they're absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I was thinking Reanimator because I did that episode not long ago. I was like, this fits totally in that era of horror. But also the use of Stonehenge just reminds us of Troll 2. Sorry.
No, it's fine. But that's a good point thing. If you think about like movies of the time, like the risks that were taken. If you went to a movie producer or a studio now with this script and said, "Right, I'm going to do a horror movie that's going to involve robots. It's going to involve killing kids. It's going to involve these cool masks, Stonehenge, cults, everything that you can think of," they'll just go, "What the fuck are you being taken?" Like,
and we want Tom Aikens to star in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a funny movie. Like I think it's, every time before I do one of these, I'll have a chat with my partner like what movie we're doing, and trying to explain this movie to him. And I was like, it sounds like I'm making it up. Like, so all this stuff happens in one movie, and he's like, I was like, yeah. Now I'm even saying it out loud. It doesn't sound like a real movie, does it? It's like, what it is.
But the crazy thing about it, and what horror movies normally live and die by, is like the heroes or the villains and stuff like that. There's even the heroes not very likable in this movie. Like Tom Aikens, like the doctor character, is a bell end. The way like he goes on, he's an alcoholic, like doctor. He's made some bad life choices. He goes on a road trip with this young lady
20
who,
something rather than seeing his kids on Halloween.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just like leaves them and shares a hotel room. Tries to do the good, nice things, saying, "Oh, I'll sleep in my car" and stuff like that. And she goes and gets seduced by this woman who, again, I know she's grieving and like she's just lost her father, but she sleeps with him very easily after this loss. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's like I know everyone likes to be like comforted in certain ways, but she was more like, yeah, let's get down
It's
and
such
dirty
but
tonight.
it's such a weird way how he does it. It's how she's positioned in front of the camera because she's like obviously just her head's to the side and he's like over here. It's just a weird angle of how he comes in to kiss her, and I'm like, oh, that's so icky. No, don't like that.
But yeah, and the whole robots things, like again, that shouldn't have worked, but it kind of does due to the horrific deaths in this. This again, I know me and Sammy love practical effects, but
Hmm.
this was hammy. This was like B movie style like practical effects. And you get it straight from the start where like I can't remember the girl's name now. Ellie's father, who's clutching on to the mask and won't let the mask go, is in the hospital bed. And you would think they would have removed it in some way by giving him some kind of like calming down or like sedative. But no, he's still keeping hold of that mask. And this guy in a suit, that's probably the idea of the suit, the idea of this movie. If you look at wear a suit, you can basically walk into any situation and no one will question you. So
Yeah.
so that thing, just be a smart dressed man and you could be a serial killer.
Well, I think it's a time of like Wall Street and the yuppie kind of uprising is happening. So, men in suits are kind of taken more seriously than men outside of suits.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And the death scene for that is just like hilarious. Or not that sound hilarious, but it's just the way it pulls out. He doesn't just crush his head. He puts his hand on his nose and he pulls his nose out, and
Yes.
it looks horrible. It's disgusting, but it's like, I'm sure there would have been easier ways to kill him or quieter ways.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've got the plot up in front of us, and all
Right.
it says is he's murdered by another suited man.
Yeah.
So mystery men in suits.
Mhm.
It does actually say Harry is clutching a jack-o'-lantern in a suit.
One thing I was going to ask as well, and again, I don't know if it's just me, like not like might have missed it, and I've watched this a number of times, but did they explain the robots at all? Did they tell you how these robots were created or where they came from?
Kind of, because they do mention, because there's the old lady one that knits, and
Yeah.
like, oh, that one's from like 17 stone. So it's like they've been doing this a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure it is one of those like standard 80s cult plots of
Mm-hmm.
miraculously the planets have lined up this year, and they've waited all this time
Mm-hmm.
building these weird machines and stealing a piece of Stonehenge. But
Mm-hmm.
it's that standard 80s plot where it's like it doesn't have to go in depth. It doesn't have to give you
Mm-hmm.
full rundown of a backstory. It's like bad guys be bad guys. And these are the bad guys.
These
Like,
be
look at
dicks.
them in their suits being really creepy and they all look the same. There's your bad guys.
Bad guys be bad guys.
So, and as Sammy said, the plot was interesting. So basically, it's about this cult that steal a rock from Stonehenge, like again, getting a stone from Stonehenge in England all the way to America, hidden in this warehouse, and it wasn't just a little stone; it was a fuck off big one as well. It,
The point
And I look
is,
the line because he asks the guy, how did you do it? He's like, took a lot of work. Wouldn't you like to know? And it's like, well, yeah.
yeah,
I would.
because they're actually unmovable.
Yeah.
That's the whole mystery of them. Why Stonehenge? Why did the Americans just think it's magic rock? Because again, it's used in Troll 2 as a magic rock.
I think
I think so. I think it's that American logic looking at the English and like kind of British paganism and stuff like that. And to the Americans, it's like,
Right.
oh, it's oldie, weldy, spooky. The British are all weird and culty, and it's like, no, we're just very boring and we like Greggs. We're not that
That's true.
excited, really. Like,
True story. I could eat at Greg's right now.
But you
Sorry.
can't even you can't even get to Stonehenge now, though. That's the thing. I think they've cornered it off, so you can't even
No,
go. You
you
can't even.
can.
No,
It has
you can.
little barriers now.
Oh yeah, you've got
in
they
between.
open them up on the solstice because you can
They do
sit
for the
you can sit
Druids.
amongst them.
Yeah, they still have full rights to it, but yeah, it's because everyone was touching it. It was starting to wear away parts of the rock, and it's like just preservation of like,
Yeah, there was
let's keep it as it is.
protesters also got in and did some markings on it as well, and you can't restore that kind of rock. So yeah, but on the solstice, the winter, summer, any of the equinoxes that they do, they open it up for people to sit around it. But it is these people are there for a reason. They're not there to be. They respect the stones.
No, definitely,
Yeah.
and like see, I know Jess like give an answer to Sammy, but I think as well, there's so much not known about Stonehenge, and I think that's the intrigue, and especially at that time when the movies getting made, because people still don't know how these stones and everything was erected at that time, like especially
Magic.
that's magic or aliens. That's always the theory, because apparently to move the stones from where they were quarried, they would have had to use like modern technology, or even modern like equipment couldn't have done it as accurately as it was done back then. So again, there's supposed to be like anti-gravity like things being used. So witchcraft and like science fiction has always been around Stonehenge ever since like people can't actually say how it was actually done.
All I can feel is it's just the ancient aliens things of how do you explain Stonehenge, like aliens.
Oh, that's getting clipped. Yeah, I agree. Time traveling aliens, just plonk them there. I have no answers when it comes to Stonehenge. All I know is that I need to, in my lifetime, go to the summer solstice so I can see where it sits on one of the rocks where the sun just sits perfect. I just want to see that. I'll be happy. I'll die happy if I can just see that moment, because it looks when you see people's photographs of it, because I watch the solstice live, because there's always someone on TikTok on something like recording it. In that moment, it's just you can hear everyone goes quiet for it. Like it's silent. There's hundreds of people there, and it's just a silent moment. Yeah, I want to go and do that.
But I know we're talking about that Halloween 3, but I love what you've just said there, because if you think about it, how much work and how much time and precision it takes to do what they did just for that one moment every year.
That moment, when the sun sits on top of one of the rocks, it is absolutely beautiful.
So, modern horror writers, you are missing a trick by not including Stonehenge in your modern day horror. This is what we need: more weird shit around Stonehenge, because it works.
Wait, look, there's 2 movies we've named already, and I bet there's more out there where Stonehenge is being. I can't get over Troll 2 though. That's the worst. That's just they call it the magic rock. the Stonehenge rock of the magic rock. It's oh my.
So again,
anyways,
my understanding is with the stone being being magic and energizing, and they use the powers of like the sun on Halloween night, not the sun, the moon on Halloween night to energize the rock into powering these microchips. Did the microchips have any part of the rock in them? Or
yes,
yeah, that was it. To create these masks that, like, in 2 instances, one where the woman pokes it with a hair clip. Like, why would you poke it with a hair clip? That was probably the most stupidest idea in the world. And she gets zapped in the mouth, so she took one in the mouth, and it wasn't a good one. Like the effects on that, it was
just
very.
remember we're on at 1 o'clock.
That's fine. She took one in the back of the throat, guys. Paris Hilton would be proud. But yeah, we'll do House of Wax one day. That'll be the interesting talk.
That'd
be a good one.
But yeah, and her
that seems amazing though. Like the prosthetics on her when it shows her face. Watching it back, it looks now kind of what they've done for I can't remember what the name of the character is. The one in Terrify where she's missing her eye, and
at the same time,
it looks so similar.
Vicky, I
like
think it is,
how
isn't
she
it?
looks. Yeah, she looks a lot like Vicky. But I love that imagery. It's like they actually show you kind of the damage it's done. I love that this doesn't shy away with like you got to see how grim everything is.
You know what's actually quite scary in that scene as well. Like, you think she takes the shot and you see her face and you think, oh, she's dead. She takes her last breath. So she takes a breath and it's like, oh, she's still almost alive. Then some kind of weird creature crawls out of her mouth. I was like, oh, what the fuck was that? That was like that's when it starts getting to the bizarre side of things.
That's when it starts getting bizarre.
But when you think about it as well, like for a horror movie and a Halloween movie, well, the Halloween movies are notorious, especially the other ones. There isn't many deaths in these movies. It's always been like what you think, or it's always amplified. But this one, there's only one, two, three. Well,
There's 9.
There's 9 deaths as all through. It's just trying to work it out because there's more than I thought actually, because I didn't think there was going to be that many.
9. I only know that because I've got IMDb up in front of us, and it tells us the kill count.
Oh, interesting.
Hang on, keep talking.
Because they do have the different types of kills. I know you have the one at the start where he gets his nose ripped out of his own skull, and that kind of kills him. He probably, like say, chokes in his own blood. Then you get the decapitation scene, which is, I'll be honest, it is the worst decapitation scene I have seen in any film. Like, it looks like a mannequin's just getting his head pulled off. Because you think, oh, where's the blood? Then it cuts to one cutscene, it's like one bit of splurt. And it's just like, it's like, all right, that was fun.
Yeah.
Then you get the shot in the face. Then they go for the kids. The kids' death scene, that was horrific.
Oh, it's brilliant. The body count is 9. If taken at face value, the chalice failed millions.
Right.
Yes. But yeah, 9. But no, the kid's death. Oh, it's my favorite moments. I love it.
Because the kids,
I love like proper poor fucking parenting as well. Like, it is the worst level of parenting. Like, they're just chatting away and just like kind of bitching at each other, and the kid's just on the floor, just like and like
crushing his face. And I love it. Oh, I love it. It's such
a... He's not.
I wonder what's happening to poor Tommy over there. Oh no, that is such a satisfying moment, especially because you sit in that room with them for quite some time. You get to see the characteristics of these absolute bellends of parents and an awful kid and all. So when he gets the face crushing, you're like, oh, satisfying. This comes from someone who has no children, as you can tell. So yeah, satisfying kid death.
I suppose it's quite shocking though, because you never often see child death in a lot of horror movies. And then just kind of like, yep, he's dead, and that's kind of the plot of the movie. We're gonna kill them all.
This shows you like the level of sadistic my wife is, though. Like I say, I love her to death, but she does scare me at times when she says certain things. When the kid died, and all the things and interesting things come out of the mask, and you think, oh, fuck, where have they come from? Like all the bugs and snakes and stuff like that. She was like, oh, that's interesting. So why are they why are they trying to say that like these bugs and snakes are evil and nasty? Why there might be just like harmless bugs and snakes just there that people are going to be scared of now because it's killed a kid. I was like, all right, and so you're not bothered about the kid dying. You're more bothered that people are going to think that snakes and bugs are nasty and evil. I was like, you're weird. But
no, I get it. I get what she means. I do get what she actually means. Like, so the kid's dead.
Like plot as well of the idea that, well, the masks will take the kids out, and then all these bugs and snakes and things, well, they'll take everyone else out who wasn't wearing a mask. But it's not very well explained. That's why they're all coming out. They're supposed to take everything else out in its path. Like, it's not very well explained.
No, but
they're just kind of there in like a weird Indiana Jones moment as well when it's coming out with the kid's mask. Right, so you kind of feel like I can see the Wrangler just kind of like, go on, move.
Bite his leg.
Move along. Did you know there's a very famous cameo in this movie?
No, go on.
The voice and operator that Chalice keeps getting when he tries to call out is none other than Jamie Lee Curtis.
All right, interesting.
So she is involved in this film.
Right.
Yeah.
But she didn't want to show her face in it. I can understand why, but yeah.
No, I think that's a brilliant touch though. It still kind of ties into the actress to the film, I guess.
Yeah.
But not exactly tying it to the Halloween
But doesn't
franchise of the
is it-
first and second in.
Yeah, but doesn't that to speak of the volume of the like how much the like production company wanted this like to be involved in the Halloween franchise? As I said, with the little cameo where he's when Tom Aiken's character's in the bar watching flicking through the TV channels, and it goes to the original
Yeah.
Halloween Terror Night, and it kind of like goes, "Oh, turn that over, it's shit," or something like that. But
Well, his ex-wife is also Nancy Loomis in in the first one. So that voice, man, that fucking her shrill voice is annoying as shit. I don't know what I would have done. I would have the damage would have been done because the way she spoke to him, I was like, oh, it's like nails going down a board.
But you have to
He
think
wanted
as
a
well,
divorce.
what has he done to her to
True.
get that
Yeah.
type of response and reaction as well?
You're right.
Because like when he rings her back and saying, "Oh, look, I can't make it. I'm at such and such, but I can't tell you where I am." She's just like, "All right, like how many drinks have you had this time?" type thing. So she's sick of his shit. And again, that's why it's weird watching this because normally when you're watching like a horror movie or like a scary movie, there's people to root for, and you're kind of not rooting for anyone when you're going through it. Yes, you don't want the evil corporation to win and all kids in America to die, but you kind of do at the same time because you
Really?
know.
I was gonna say, do we? I know who I'm rooting for.
I don't know, I find it hard because like I can't damn his character in it because see like Tom Atkins is just such a lovely, lovely person. And I'm like, regardless of how bad he is in the movie, I'm just like, no, he's still
I'm your number
wholesome. He's still
one
a wholesome
fan.
person.
As we're finding out now,
Too lovely.
Jess is the type of person that writes to serial killers in prison. I think you're nice, really. It's fine.
No, I think it's just like because I've been lucky enough to obviously meet the guy and stuff, and he is just genuinely one of the nicest people in the world you'll ever meet. I've never come across someone so wholesome as what he is. He's like, he is the dream guest. I'd suggest it to anyone if he's ever at something, go and meet him just because you'll come away with a little warm, fuzzy feeling after you've met him.
Sweet.
I tried, but the queue was too big. So
he did actually go and try and get his steel book signed. But the actor himself, when I watched this documentary, I say documentary, it was like a making of, and he has nothing but sweet and lovely things to say about the whole production. And when asked at the end, when he, do you think they stopped it after you screaming down the phone? He was like, I have to believe that they did.
Yeah.
I was like, I bet they didn't. But I like where your thought process is going. Yeah, he was like, yeah, I have to believe that they did because I have to believe that there was people out there, and it's entirely down to your interpretation with this movie, how this movie ends.
And that's great. The more movies should do that because I know a lot of people when they kick off, like a lot of people kick off saying, "Oh, I like a complete story. I like to know how things think." But why? Sometimes it's like your imagination, and again, it's the whole premise of horror. Your imagination can do a lot more damage or scary than basically anyone else like that can show you. Like, and that's where I know people love them, and I think that's where the Terrifier movies do fall down a little bit. Yes, you get the shock factor, and it's kind of like the gross out aspect, and like saying, "Oh yeah, what?" Like it's kind of like the badge of honor, saying, "I've watched the Terrifier movies," but they don't leave anything to the imagination, and you kind of like you think, and they did play about with it with number 3, and again, this is just a spoiler for a little one. I don't know if you're bothered about spoilers. Are you bothered about this one?
We might have, viewers might be.
I couldn't give a fuck about the viewers.
I couldn't give a shit.
So basically, at the start, he's dressed as Santa and he's going through just like a house, like and no reason for it, and he kills a little boy, he kills the mum and dad, and there's a little girl, and she's hiding in the cupboard, and he opens the cupboard and sees her, and that's where it cuts, but doesn't show you anything that happened. So it's like you then make up like in your mind, is that little girl still alive? Is that little girl dead now? And again, that's where the fear factor and like you can run away. And again, harking back to older horrors like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you don't see any of the kills. You just hear the screams. and it's like you can get the impression of what's happened, but you don't see any blood, you don't see physically anyone get killed. It's all done behind closed doors. And same with
Yeah.
like the Michael Myers situation as well. I know a lot of people are bored and say you don't actually know why Michael Myers is evil or why Michael Myers does what he does. It's just that you can make up your ideas or have your own thoughts and like why he is, and probably you can think of a million different things that's probably scarier than someone showing you why.
Yeah,
I would say the ending has the perfect horror ending anyway. That's like that's what makes it scarier, because you don't know, and you sat there kind of like you're in the same kind of trauma as Tom Atkins is screaming at the TV of just like, oh my God, like what do you mean it
that
didn't
is
stop?
that is
Like,
such a good, the way he shouts "Stop it!" I love it. It's
love
because
it.
it's just so brutal,
Mhm.
and to make his point. But I do agree with Paul in some degrees, because I have said I am one of these people who I do sometimes like a complete story, but it depends on what it is.
Mhm.
And it's
Mhm.
probably more out of frustration because I am not an imaginative person to
Mhm.
where I can't think this is where that would go, or this is how I feel it, or how I feel like things went. But I think it works on some occasions, and definitely the examples Paul gives.
Mhm.
Um, but when it comes to like kind of psychological horror,
Mhm.
I don't want to be left with questions. I'd
Mhm.
rather have the answers because I would be so frustrated.
Well, but that, like I say, that brings in conversation, and then you can have like the debate, like why you think this happened
Mm,
for this reason and stuff like that. It's like again, talk about psychological horror. It's Silence of the Lambs when Hannibal Lecter's following that guy on the plane. He's going, "I'm just going to meet an old friend
for
for dinner," and then you don't say anything. It's like, did he catch up with them? Did he have him for dinner? And again, it's just like again your
Yeah,
interpretation.
I totally get you on that one, because, and that's exactly what I was thinking of, because I hate the line in Scream
Mhm.
where, and I think it's, is it Hannibal Lecter or is it, yeah, it's Hannibal Lecter. Do we know why Hannibal Lecter did what he did? And he
Mhm.
goes, no, we don't. Well, we actually do,
Yeah.
because if you read the books, it fucking
Mhm.
tells you. But at the
Mhm.
same time, the end of the film, when he does say that, I always have the conversation with Ant going, you did it.
Mhm.
Yeah, he did it. He ate him. He ate that motherfucker.
But to be fair
And then I go and hide in the corner thinking about cannibalism.
to be fair though, Hannibal Lecter was a vindictive bastard as well. So he would have like he never let anything lie. He wouldn't like
No,
the
and I
way he
don't
went.
think he would let it drop.
No, the way he went after Will Graham's family as well, like in like a Manhunter, or Red Dragon, depending on which version you watch, is shows how vindictive and like petulant he can be as well. So I quite like
Yeah,
that
but yeah, you
element.
give a fucking serial killer a really mad sadistic serial killer his home address.
Mhm.
That's the worst of the worst.
Mhm.
Both Manhunter and Red Dragon are very good, by the way. The both equally as brilliant. Both equally have two excellent Hannibal Lecters playing them.
Exactly.
Anyways,
No,
Halloween
So
3.
that just breaks down to essentially Hannibal Lecter is just a petty bitch.
yes, pretty much.
Massively, massively, because I thought, yeah, he's like, well, you're gonna put me behind bars. I'm gonna send a sadistic serial killer to your house
It's one of them
who likes
things.
to chomp on people.
It's like when you've spent your whole life believing you're the most intelligent man in the room, and then having that realization taken away from you. It's like how far would you push that to kind of get that back?
Totally get that. In the
Mm.
moment, sorry to go on a tangent, but on the moment when Graham on Red Dragon, I'm just going to take Red Dragon as the example, and because it's kind of played same in the book, when the realization when he's reading the recipe book and he can start to piece it all together,
Mhm.
and he's just see Hannibal behind him, and it's almost that look of you've got to be fucking kidding us. That's how you did it.
Yeah.
Like he looks devastated.
Mhm.
And then obviously it switches very quickly into fight or flight.
Yeah.
Who someone's gonna die in that room. Anyways,
Mhm.
Halloween season 3. Season of the
No,
Witch.
but as you said, it is a Halloween special. Like, it's a difficult one with this movie as well because there's not much meat where you can like take apart, or like there's not much like. It's a great movie. Again, I know it sounds like we've slated it front because it is batshit crazy, but there's so many fun elements to it. If you just sit down, switch your brain off, and just go right, I'm going to take you through A to B because there's no like really like the clever parts. I think the only thing that kind of like sets you good, oh, that's a bit weird. That I wasn't expecting that. Is what Jess said, like the robots. the robots kind of like throw you completely out of loop.
Well,
Mhm.
I've got IMDb up. During a panel at the 2013 35 Years of Terror Halloween convention in Pasadena, California, Tommy Lee Wallace was asked by the moderator to explain the connection between Stonehenge, island, robots, laser beams, and both melt flesh and produce that connection. He asked what that connection was, and Wallace's only response was, "It's magic, man."
I love that. It's like the Simpsons line, "A wizard did it."
Yeah.
A wizard did it. I do love the fact that the masks are repurposed again for the Halloween franchise in the 2018, where you see them sitting in. Was it the 2018 one?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
the 2021 one. It was Halloween Kills.
Right.
It wasn't the 2018 one where they're sitting in the park.
Yeah.
And the three kids have got the masks on. I love the repurpose of that. It should, to be honest, their masks need to be seen more. They are some of the greatest design work for masks.
100%, and they are creepy as fuck as well. Like the whole idea, like, and again, iconic skeleton, pumpkin, and a witch. You think, oh, they are the most iconic characters, but for me, it's not just like the look of them; it's the colors as well, like the vibrancy in this as well.
That green.
I
love that green.
It's one of them things. I would love to own their masks, but I'm not paying 50 or 60 quid per mask to have them. And again, I can't justify. I know I buy loads of weird and wonderful shit, but 60 quid for a bit of rubber. I can't.
Yeah, I get that. When I got me NECA figures, me Frankenstein and Bride of my sister and my brother-in-law for my birthday, a certain business was giving out limited edition cards, and they were Season of the Witch ones, and I got the Pumpkinhead one, and it was the colors in it were absolutely stunning. It's the design of the pumpkin as well. It's not your traditional looking pumpkin either. It's got a different kind of shape to it, but still recognizable as what it's meant to be. It's just, they're absolutely stunning. But you are right, there's no kind of like meatiness to this. Like when I was watching the making of it, there was no scandal, there was no, everyone got on. It was a great set. They knew exactly what they were doing. They knew exactly what type of movie they were making. They knew exactly what type of response that they were going to get. They had no expectations of this. They just didn't realize that in, 20 years later, it would be a success as what it is.
With you saying that the success that came from it as well, do you think this could have a rebirth, or like people could do a reimagining of it, like take away, as you said, I don't know if they can take away the Halloween element to it, but they could basically go on the Halloween lore from like the Season of the Witch story. I know in elements of the later Halloween movies that kind of touched on like the cults aspect. I think Halloween 4 and was it 4 or 4 5 and 6 possibly, where they went into the cult of Michael Myers, and that was supposed to be leading into this. But do you think this one could be kind of remade for a modern audience? It'll be interesting.
Honestly, no, and I don't think it should be.
Because are you tying that to your love of the film?
No, because I think there's a thing when you have, well, however, it's when you've got a cult status movie, it's because it wasn't appreciated at its time. It's grown with popularity, but it does. I think cult movies are always very of their time. They could have only been made at that point. They would have only ever had that feel and that design of that, because it's obviously synonymous to when it was made, with not realizing how this would be perceived to audiences, like things like The Thing. We saw what happened when they tried to go back and do that. And it's with something like this, I mean, it'd be hard anyway, because you'd have to talk about massive alcoholism, a huge age difference, and this kind of alcoholic, I'm going to say it, sexy doctor trying to hit on anything you can get anywhere near. There's a lot in it where you kind of like, it's the 80s, this stuff doesn't fly anymore. You ain't getting away with any of this in a movie anymore without it getting cancelled.
That's true.
So I think it's so of its time, because it's so 80s, like it's beautifully 80s. Like, so you could definitely not have a relationship with between a 40-something-year-old man and a 20-something girl as the main sort of two arc characters.
Yeah, I think again, what I found more interesting in the story, watching again last night, wasn't like, as you said, the the weirdest and stuff like that, was the fact that a company could come into like a small town and totally take over it, and almost like Big Brother it at the same time. Like you get the drunk town, like the town drunk, walking through and spilling like the information to Tom Atkinson's doctor, about how all the people in the town are being watched, all the people are being listened to, like all their actions are taken thing. That kind of like engrossed me a little bit more. Like if they were going to do, like, I'm not saying they would, but if they were going to do like a remake or even like a remastering of this type of story, that's the story that would be interesting as well. How the town was taken over by this company, and what kind of was involved with that, and what levels of like the corruption and kind of like the getting the fingers in the pies type thing. I think that again was quite interesting to me, and I kind of wanted to know more about it because it was touched upon, and it was kind of like, yeah, I'm quite interested in that, but you don't really go any further than that. Or like what happens to the town after this big clump, like as you said, I know you would have to find out if the big question was answered. Did he stop it? Yes or no? But what happened to the town? What happened to America after the ramifications after this? Like, did the pagans take over? Did they start sacrificing the Virgin and the pale moonlight every Tuesday night?
That is
Like,
not what the pagans do.
no.
No, you know. Unfortunately, no, that's not.
To be
That's
fair,
not
though, I've upset every
good.
religion on this podcast.
I know,
I'm
you might
gonna
as well
tick,
you might as well go down that route and all.
I'll just tick the box for everyone. That's what that's the thing. So equal
No
hate
one's
for everyone.
excluded.
Yeah.
No one's excluded. It's so interesting you mentioned the thing though, Jessica, earlier, because it's always something I remember when I did Event Horizon,
Mhm.
and the director of Event Horizon showed it to John Carpenter. I think it was John Carpenter, and John Carpenter said, mate, Kurt Russell. It was Kurt Russell. Showed it to Kurt Russell, and he went, mate, just be prepared. In 20 years' time, people are gonna love this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's so sad that that's how some people have to think when they're making their movies. And it makes us think, is that what they thought? Or did the sudden uprising of this film years later kind of took them by surprise? Or did they think, this is not made for now? This is made for now, as in we're making it in the 80s kind of thing. And it's all, but we are technically making this for nearly 20 years down the road.
Yeah.
It makes us think, do people think like that when they're making films?
Probably not at the time,
Yeah.
because everyone wants to make something, and again, let's be honest, people want to make money and people want to, like say, do things for praise as well. So it's nice that these things were getting made and probably weren't appreciated at the time, but getting the appreciation they deserve. But probably,
Yeah.
but again, just in the point that Jess made as well, like we are lucky at the time as well that this movie was made, like again, play devil's advocate, made at the time, because if they made this now, like fresh eyes and stuff like that, they probably wouldn't have certain elements, as you said. The practical effects they used, they would have done special effects, and that would have been so overdone and over the thing. And as you said, when they done the Thing remake, they changed up the practical for the CGI, and that's where that failed. I still think it's not a bad movie. It's just not a good Thing movie. Which
watch it in the dark in a campsite where you've got one of your nephews freaking the fuck out, even though he's not watching it. You can just hear it. That was an experience. That's I watched that before I watched the Thing, and it was only because we had a television in the tent, so we could watch it.
This one time at bad camp.
Don't, because
there's something about these types of movies though as well, like and see them as just like really akin to it, of like it proper shows 80s America, where it's that corporate is coming in. You live in front of the TV now. You've got dual working parents, you've got divorced parents, everyone's struggling, everyone's in deprivation kind of thing, and like all these small towns are disappearing because of corporate America. And it shows a lot of this in it. Like, say, that little Irish town, it's like no one lives there anymore.
Yeah.
This company came in and just wiped it out. So I don't know what it'd be like now, because it'd just be like, I don't know, would it be like, instead of Halloween masks, would have been wearing like Trump masks in front of the TV waiting for the election if you did this in modern America now? Like, that's the real fear.
Right. And You may be right.
Be scared.
Halloween's just a good time. Like,
That's the
Let's
thing.
not bring politics into it.
But I think that probably is where this film is, because you said Halloween is a good time, and that's what this movie is. It's a good time to watch these type of spooky movies. And again, if people haven't watched it, and I think now it is becoming a little bit more easier to watch. It reminds me of a story, and this is before I got into horror movies as well. And people were talking about the Halloween franchise and Halloween movies. And I went to my dad, I always get, oh, what's the Halloween movie about? Like, talking about the original one. And I don't think my dad had seen the original Halloween. He'd seen Season of the Witch. And
Oh, wow.
and he just went, oh, it's just a horror movie about a kid's masks coming alive and killing them. And to me, that idea in my head just like grew and grew, and I become obsessed with the idea of like Halloween Season of the Witch because of my dad planting that idea in my head, like of
Oh,
walking around having. But in my head, I went so much further. It was like wasn't just because then you hear about all the different laws and stuff like having like razor blades in the candy, but in the mask there was razor blades in the mask, and that's how it killed the kids. But that's because my imagination took it to depths and levels where it shouldn't have went.
No, that's crazy. My dad used to always tell us that one film that scared him the most was Friday the 13th. Because the end scene when Jason jumps out of the water, that absolutely terrified him. And I wouldn't watch that for such a long time because of the impression it left on him. So I was like, well, if he can't stand it, I'm not going to be able to take it. And it's not really that bad, kids. It's fine. Carrie's is worse, in my opinion.
So
what I don't suggest people is like, you've got to go and watch the movie. Absolutely go and watch it. And purely for one scene alone, just wait for the moment where Tom Atkins sneaks past everyone by moving a rack of masks and nobody notices him doing like some Scooby-Doo move to sneak around the room. Like this probably just moving on its own, and like that's totally normal, right?
It's totally
the
fine,
most
Jess.
spooky moment I've ever seen in a movie.
You define 80s, it's that right there.
the whole end sequence is just batshit crazy. It's like it doesn't quite make sense because Tom Atkins, as I said, was raking like there was in the lab, we'll go lab, and they're looking around for stuff and everything like to try and basically stop the evil plot from coming. And he finds a box of the Silver Shamrock logos, the little discs things are with a microchipped on them, and I don't know how he comes up with the idea. He goes, "Oh, right, I'm gonna steal a box." Runs up to the computer, remembers a sequence from when he was tied, from the kid died, and presses the same sequence on the computer, which for some reason, if it starts, you can't stop because all the the scientists or robots are just looking around going, like what's happening? You get the evil the corporation guy, I can't remember his name now, is just basically standing there going, looking all stoic. Tom Aikens and Ellie, sorry, run up the stairs, and the robots start realizing and start like not chasing him, but like walking like kind of robotically towards him. And he just throws all the discs at them, and then just starts shooting laser beams across everything. It's like, what the fuck's going on here now? That just lost me completely. But then the guy who's running the show, who's trying to be the ultimate evil, just looks at him and doesn't get angry, doesn't, just starts clapping, just goes, yeah, and then he gets like vaporized or sent to the moon. We don't know.
Sent to the moon.
Whatever that is that happens there, he sort of turns to paper and then just disappears.
Yes.
Magic,
Magic,
man.
The wizard did it.
Yeah, but that's probably the best way to describe this movie, as just motherfucking magic.
No, the wizard did it.
The wizard did
it. Yeah. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. The wizard did it.
The fucking wizard.
Any questions you've got?
blame the stupid
Just
wizard.
come full circle in its end though, because it's, at the start, obviously you've got her dad and he's ran to that gas station. And he's trying to get the help, and that's where Tom Atkins is at the end. He runs to that same gas station to get the phone to try and call. How he knows all these numbers is amazing.
But you did in the 80s, or you had to?
True.
Yeah, you had any choice. You had anywhere else to put them. You had to know them.
I used to have a
just love
piece of
the fact
paper
You're
with all my
young,
mates'
Jess.
numbers.
We'll forgive you.
He's a doctor, but he somehow knows every TV network's personal number to call them.
And the listen to them as well. Like most of them turn it off. It's like, wait there, we've got this guy that says bad things are going to happen. That we've got this advertisement that people shouldn't do. Yeah.
Although imagine if you were the TV network and they went, right, will you turn off that really annoying advert that's been playing for 2 weeks now? It's like, you know what? Yeah.
Yes, I will.
You know what? I will. I don't even care if it's going to kill anyone. If it's an opportunity to turn it off, let's turn it off.
Like we're fucking sick of the two. Oh.
But yes,
well,
so I'm not going to give a rating to this movie because I don't think it's fair to try and rate it because it's not perfect, but I wouldn't change it.
Same here. And I think that we've done this throughout spooky season. There's a reason we picked these movies for us because we deeply have like a lot of appreciation and affection for them. So to sit there and give a rating on, if it was a random film, like because if I've randomly picked one, if Paul's randomly picked one, but no, we carefully chose these ones for Halloween in the spooky season.
Yes. So next year we're just going to pick some shit ones for you. So fuck yous.
Gonna do some absolute really bad like body snatching shit. It's gonna be great.
We're going grave robbing now. So
I don't know. It's the first thing that when I think of shit films, like invading the body snatchers and shit like that comes into my head.
All right. I thought we was going.
Forgive me. I'm really tired.
I thought we were going Burke and Hare and stuff, and actually getting a shovel and saying, "Let's go live to a digging of the grave."
Don't, Paul, because I only learned about them this year.
Right.
I'm so ashamed. Yeah, I'm so ashamed of myself. I only learned about what they did because Ant was like, I honestly thought like this would be well up your street, and I was like, well, I just thought they were like fairy tale stories. No, Sam, this is real life. And I was like, oh shit. So I went down an absolute rabbit hole. It literally was about 6 months ago.
Oh,
That's
gosh, there's so much in Edinburgh that's great about like so many different things you can go and visit around.
Tell us about it.
Surgeons Hall alone is worth going to see. Of kind of, it's weird that
if I get my way, we're going next year.
I do think, like say, especially with what we're doing with like TikTok and stuff, a few more live stuff with graveyards might be fun. That could be an interesting like thing we could partake in.
We saw a very pretty one on the way to Manchester, didn't we?
Well, you didn't. Well,
I saw it out of the corner of my eye as we were driving away.
Well, like Anthony, oh, that's a nice graveyard, and you're like, oh, where's it? But yes,
what's on the other side?
But yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not going to promote anything after this episode because I can't be bothered. This is our spooky Halloween episode. We only get to do this once a year. Follow us on our socials, follow us on all the different things. I know Sammy's, bless her, just put up the 2 episodes on the audio side. She works hard, bless her, she does well. But yes, hope you have enjoyed our spooky season and hope you have learned a little bit about how weird we are. Yes.
And we're going back to normal next week. Yay!
With revolution.
If you're on YouTube, though, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any episodes that come out from the Nerdy Up North team. Audio for every episode goes out on a Tuesday. Like Paul said, we've got all our socials. And we have a schedule that goes up every Tuesday to let you know what's happening each week.
And to be fair, though, me and Sammy are the only ones that adhere to this schedule, so these are all on notice.
Very true. Very true.
But yes. But yeah, I'm going to end that there. I'm not going to say anything else. I know we've got a lot more stuff to plan and things to hear, but get on the Facebook group to find out more. But yes. So stay nerdy, everyone.
No. End it your normal way, mister.
I just thought just when you're pointing at us there, I was like, I'm going to say something to upset her. So same bat time, same bat channel.
Stay nerdy, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.